wherever you are logged in, if it is from Zambia, Kenya, Uganda. And a warm welcome to this financial literacy training, basically for the youth who are just gearing to go back to school. And now across all the regions, the schools are reopening tomorrow, next week. And for those who are in college, I believe that either you are not closed yet or you are still ongoing with your studies. And I believe that this particular engagement will be a plus to all of us. As Elizabeth has said, my name is Anthony Obiambo. I'm the lead trainer on financial wellness or financial planning and change management. I've been doing this for over 10 years, specifically on financial wellness. And it is it is a calling. I always say this is a calling. It is a ministry that as Octagon Africa, as we believe in guaranteeing financial security, it is important to start as young as you are today because money issues are very complicated. And I can tell you for a fact that as I speak to you this morning, I've come to learn about money in my adulthood. And I wish this information could have actually been shared with me when I was young. So you are in the right place at the right time. And my belief is that you'll take home so much that you can and will make you be a better person when it comes to money matters. And as you progress with your education and joining the labor market, you'll be ready basically to know how to go about it. So karibuni sana and feel welcome. It is use the chat box. You can raise your hands. Basically, Elizabeth will be moderating just to ensure that all of us are in sync with what we are going to discuss. So it's going to be a 2-hour program, of which I'm going to take you in installments on what basically I have for you. It's also good to recognize that being a Saturday, I know it's not easy sometimes to wake up very early, but for the time and the sacrifice that you've put in just to ensure that you're on this platform at this particular moment, we don't take it for granted. And we appreciate you and hope that you have a notebook and a paper that you can be able to take notes on. So that's said and done. I wish that I go straight to what I have for you this morning. So for those who are still coming, karibuni sana. This is Anthony. Call me Mr. Moneyman for today because we are just going to be talking about money, money, money. So before I go to the slides that I have, probably I'll also wish that as Elizabeth had mentioned, the country that you are logged in from, so that we know how many we have from the region. And number two, if you could also use the chat box just to, I just want to know, when is the last time you had a money conversation with your parents? When is the last time you had a serious money conversation with your parents? Number two, how often do you discuss money issues with your parents? Then I also wish to know, what is this one thing that you'll wish to have immediately you clear Form 4, or you clear high school, or you clear college, or you clear primary school, that you'll want to save for and basically buy it with your own money, not your parents. So if you could basically also drop those particular, just let us know, when is the last time you had a money conversation with your parents? Number two, do your parents discuss money issues? Do they approach you when it comes to money issues on particular areas? And number three, what is this one thing that you wish to have or purchase in your custody, you'll want to have in your custody before you clear high school or primary or college? I think that basically starts us off to just jog your memory so that we know, is this money matters being discussed at the home level, or it is something that is a taboo to many of us. So thank you so much. Allow me to share what I have for you today so that we can get off the ground. So I'll put off my camera Good. Good. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, it's about financial literacy training for the young chaps. You know, you are the leaders of tomorrow. That's what they say in the leadership or the political realm, that we are the leaders of tomorrow. But when it comes to money issues, I just want to tell you, you are the parents of tomorrow. You are still the leaders of tomorrow. You are the workers of tomorrow. And if you're not financially literate, then it means that you'll you'll have very, very hard times basically to get your groove and to get to where basically you want to go into. So what are those things that I'll be talking about this morning? Just basically to bring you up to speed what we mean by financial literacy. Why do we require you to be financially literate as a young person, as a youth, as a teenager? Number two, what do you really know about money? You know, it is paramount, because it will be a disservice from us as Octagon Africa if we cannot be, if we don't ask that question. What do you know about money? Number three, the more you know about money, then it means that you know how to make it also. So how do you make your money? I know you are still young, yes, but how do you make your money? And as you make your money, the other aspect of it is, how do you spend it? So tracking where the money goes, even if it is pocket money, even if it is a small allowance that you're given by your parents, how do you track it? And how do you keep note of the expenditure that you basically use on a particular day, on a week, or in a month? Then the fourth item that I'm going also to discuss is about savings. Why do we save? Yeah. And what is the difference between savings and investments? Because those are two different things. There's always a confusion between savings, and people tend to think that savings is investment and investment is savings. No, those are two different things. So those are the four items, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm going to discuss this morning. And I hope and believe that by the end of those four items, we'll have an open forum where we can exchange, get to know exactly what are your questions, the things that you'll want to know as you logged in for this webinar, and as you prepare to go back to school and whatever you do on a daily basis, then you don't feel disenfranchised and you have the full information. So the introduction part of it is financial literacy, as I said, and what does it mean? Just to break it down for you, that financial literacy is the possession of set of skills and knowledge that allows an individual to make informed and effective decisions with all financial resources. So by understanding the basic financial concepts, allow people to navigate in the financial system, and people with appropriate financial literacy training make better financial decisions and manage money better than those without training. So in a nutshell, guys, the thing is, the reason why you are here is that you want the skills. You want to possess particular skills and knowledge that allows you to make some informed and effective decision when it comes to financial resources. And when you talk about financial resources, money is just part of the financial resources. Because when you talk about the money, the system, yeah, the whole ecosystem of the finance, it means there's the hard cash, there's the issue of the digital cash, there are the issues of the bank. What are the channels of how this money goes around the world, and many things. So those are things that you must be able to know and understand. That as you talk about financial literacy, then you know that, do you use the bank? Do you use the digital channels? Do you use the hard currency? What are the foreign exchange, foreign currencies that you know? And if you want to invest, are there providers, and who are those providers who are able to give you the platform to invest on particular assets or particular investment vehicles that we are going to talk about? So this understanding is very paramount, and these are things that you are never taught in school. I always say that in school you are taught on how to manage other people's money, but at individual level, you are left basically to swim on your own. So you are always thrown on the deep end, and it is your responsibility to swim from one end to the other. So it is a privilege, basically, that Octagon is seeing this gap. And we hope and believe that by the end of it all, having this knowledge, having this life skill, you'll be able to navigate the employment world in a way that you'll manage your money. And at the end of it all, you'll become financially free. Because as we talk about, as we train people on money management, the key aspect and the bottom line always is how do we ensure that once you start working, being self-employed or being employed, then the ultimate goal is to achieve your financial freedom. It doesn't come easy. It is a work in progress for so many people. And the difference between being financially free and not being financially free is always on money management. And that's the reason why we are here. So, guys, being financially literate is about possession of skills, knowledge, and understanding all the financial concepts that will allow you to navigate the financial system. And when we talk about the ecosystem, I've just told you it is about, is it the banks? Is it the fund managers? Is it the digital platforms? And so many other areas of financial system that exist. And I know now that you've heard of even the cryptocurrency. Those are the kind of the digital platforms that we'll be talking about. And at the end of it all is how you manage whatever you get through you or get to you, whether it is pocket money or not. The other aspect, basically, ladies and gentlemen, that is also of very importance for you to know is that as young as you are, there's already a way that you behave with money, and our financial behaviors are affected by three things. And it's good that you are getting this information as young as you are today. Number one of one thing or one aspect that affect our financial behavior is culture. What do we mean by culture? You know, culture is the way you see your parents do things at home. Do they always draw a budget? How often do they speak about money? Do you have, as a child, as a dependent, as a beneficiary, are you always involved, or are you part of the discussion when it comes to money? Do you even know how your mom or your parents make money? You know, all those kind of things. So culture is the way you see things done at home. And I can tell you for a fact, us speaking here, you, Anthony, speaking to you this morning, is that there are things that I picked from my parents. Some are very good, some are very bad. One of the bad things that I picked is that for the longest time, I never used to draw a budget, because I can tell you for a fact, my parents, there's no one day that I saw them sit on a table, draw a budget, agree on things need to be bought, agree on things that cannot be bought because of the limited resources that are there. So in a big way, it affected the way I perceived that even if you start working, then you run with your budget in your head. You don't sit down with a book and a pen to agree on what need to be bought. But once I came to learn that budgeting is one of the critical aspects of being financially well, then I've totally changed the culture, the bad culture that I adopted from my parents. And basically now I'm a living testimony that budgeting helps at individual level and also at the company level. So probably there could be some things that you've picked from your parents. If you look down deep, you could see them affecting you in one way or the other. Now, those are the things that I'll want you to drop once we are done with this training. Number two is the environment. As you are logged in this morning, I know that we are all logged in from, we are being raised from different environments. There are those of us who we really come from very humble environments. It means that sometimes having a 3 straight meal in a day is a problem. So you only have either supper or lunch, and you call it a day. There's no breakfast. What that means is it affects you to believe that you are living in an environment of lack. And that affects your adulthood in the sense that the moment you start earning money, then that mental block that you'll have inherited from your environment where you grew up can affect how you even save. And you can even see around you, you can observe from people who sometimes they have a lot of money, but because of that lack mentality, the mental block, because of the environment they grew in, it affects them not to want to even save money. So an environment has a role, has a big role in how we manage our financial our finances. So whichever environment you come from, the key thing is we must approach money in a totally a different way. If you are blessed after schooling, after college, and you land into a job, the key thing to ask is how much am I earning, and how now do I make use of it in a better way that it starts setting your life for good, and especially gearing your life to ensure that you arrive at financial freedom after all is said and done. And for those who have been brought up in affluent environment, pocket money, when you ask for it, you get it. Your father do not have to ask, how much do you need? Uh, that can also affect you in the sense that you might believe that money is always just available until you start working. Then you realize that, okay, it was not the same way your parents you had actually treated you. We've had instances, because I can tell you for a fact that when we do recruitment, there are young men and women who turn down our offers because what they are being offered is less than what they were being given as pocket money or an allowance on a monthly basis. So you can see that affecting their employability, because they tend to think that the money was available, the parents used just to offer it. So you take that to the work environment, which might actually turn against you, because in the work environment, remember, organizations have their salary structures, and within those salary structures, you as a young person, what do you require? You require skills and experience. It's not about the money. Money can come in later. But the moment you find that the allowance that your parents are giving you are more than what is being offered in the job market, then you turn down offers, then you delay your employability, and it becomes really difficult for you to get employed. So environment affects financial behaviors, even up to the level of employment. So don't take this for granted. You just need to know, how do you behave in particular areas, and how do you manage whatever little that you start earning at that particular time. Then lastly, role models. As a young person, your parents and your siblings need to be your first role models when it comes to money matters. I don't know how many of you you've identified your parents or your siblings or a friend who you see handle money issues very well, and they never run out of money, they are not in debt, and they are able to manage the little they have in a better way. So I'll advise you that as a young person, attach yourself to people who you aspire or who inspires you in terms of money management, and who will inspire your life to achieve some great achievement, especially when it comes to financial goals. Because with that, then it means that you start learning very fast and you learn on the ropes. And there's nothing as good as learning from people who've already walked that particular journey, and who understand how difficult the ups and downs of financial issues. So, ladies and gentlemen, the key thing is your financial behaviors as young as you are is being affected by the culture, how you used to see things getting done, environment that you grew in is affecting how you're behaving with even the little money that you're being given as an allowance or pocket money. And because you don't have a role model, then it means that you are your own role model. It means you're not learning from any person, you're learning from yourself, which is not always the best thing to do. They say that um, to be a champion, you must identify good coaches. And a coach is somebody that you are accountable to, somebody you trust, somebody basically who asks you questions and you run to them for advice, and they'll never put you down, but they'll correct you on the mistakes that you do. So in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, just do a little bit of introspection and find out what do you think or where do you think you are not doing things right. So that is it what you learned from your parents? Is it the environment that you grew in? Or now you don't have role models, and you can start identifying those role models so that you become a better you in the very near future. So that said and done, it is only important now to ask you, what is money? Yeah, what is money? I know everybody and all of us have a diverse definition of what is money. If you speak to any adult today, they'll tell you money, it's everything, in that it what basically makes the world move around. That is an adult for you, because money to them fixes all the problem. If it is school fees, money fixes it. If it is to go for a holiday out of the country, money fixes it. If it is to pay rent, money fixes it. If it is to pay school fees, money fixes it. So money become a solution. Yeah, it is a solution to so many so many things, to so many people, depending on your age, depending on how endowed you are in terms of career and so many other things. But you, as a young person, what is money? And for the few years that you've lived under the sun, what does it mean to you? Yeah, what does it mean to you? How do you look at it, and how will you want it to look at it in the near future? So I just want to remind you that there are so many untruths about money, and those untruths, I want just to lay them bare, that we are made to understand as young people that money is for adults. Yeah, that money is for adults. I don't know whether that is your take on it, because as I asked at the beginning of this training, is that how often do your parents consult you on money? When is the last time you had a conversation about money, and were your opinions actually taken into consideration? So the untruth is that money is for adults, which is wrong. And I want to challenge you, as I always challenge any other young person, basically, when you go through this training, that you need to ask your parents the hard questions. Why is it that they don't discuss money issues with you? How do you get involved so that you get to know about this money? Because research has actually shown, and this is in the developed world, that even the wealthiest of people that you think their children know about money, they don't, because parents take very little time to discuss money issues with their children. And from what I got is that in the Americas and in the Europe, only 20% of parents discuss money issues with their children. So it means over 80% of parents do not discuss money issues with their children. What does that mean? It means that in case you lose your parents and they had certain wealth, then it will take you a very short time to basically sustain that wealth, because you don't understand it, you don't know it. And we have so many examples all over the country, in Kenya and all over the world, where wealth was created by parents who never discussed the nitty-gritty on how the wealth is created. And when they left the wealth to the young, the next generation, who are now you, because of the lack of understanding, it took you less than 2 years to actually squander everything. So the first untruth is money is for adults. That's not true. You, as a young person, you need to get involved to know, how is it made? Where does it come from? How do we create it and make it to be more and better? Children should not know about money. That is wrong. You should be the person who should know more about money, because if your parents are actually creating this wealth or this money, they are not creating it for themselves. They are creating it for you. So the faster you know how it is created, and how you can sustain it, how you can preserve it, the better. Then they always tell you that money is the source of all evils. That's a lie. That is just one way to make you not to venture. I can say it was a ploy by parents to tame their children not to love money. So that you don't ask for money all the time. They tell you it is a source of all evils. No, even the Bible is clear that money is okay, but the excess love of it is the habit that you should not do. So to know what is money, what is the source of money, and how it is made, and all that is okay. But the excess love of it is basically what becomes evil. Then money is discussed in secret. Yes, our parents basically discuss money issues in secrecy. You will find that your parents, if your mom asks for some things to be bought in the house, your dad basically will call your mom out of the sitting room or where they were, and take them. They go to the bedroom, and it is from the bedroom that basically they'll discuss money issues, very far from you. So those are the untruths that basically we need to drop, so that money issue is not a secret. And the moment it is not a secret, then it becomes a blessing to you and even to the parents. What are the truths about money? Money, I can tell you for a fact that money is a tool that will take you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as a driver. What basically Ayn Rand said is that, as any other tool, if you want to build a house, let's say a roof, then definitely you must have nails, you must have iron sheets, and you must have hammer. You cannot basically do a glass housing with a hammer. So money is also a currency, the hard currency basically that makes things move. As I said at the beginning, if you want a house, if you want a good education, it is the same money that will give you the good education. So it is a tool, and as a young person, you need to pick this up so that you know this tool, how do you use it for your good, and how do you ensure that you're part of the conversation as a household level so that it is for your good. Yeah, and by ensuring that it can do whatever you want to do. Another truth about money is that it is a good servant, but a very bad master. Money can serve you, it can give you whatever you want. But the moment it takes over your role, there are people who, when they have money, then money starts ruling them. It is money who drives them to where the money wishes that. They don't control their emotions. They don't control their behavior because there's money in their pocket. As a young person, I can tell you, surely, what you need to do is that make money serve you. And the key thing now that you should be concentrating on and praying even for your parents is that they have enough money to take you to the kind of level of education that you wish to go to, and the kind of colleges that you wish basically to get into. Hello? So, Elizabeth, you're calling me?
Sorry, Anthony. That was a...
Sorry. Okay, thanks. So I was just telling you, one of the other truth is that money is a good servant, but a very bad master. Let not money master you. It is you to master the money, please. As a young person, please take this to the bank. What do I mean by mastering? When you master the money, is in the sense that you know how it comes, how you utilize it, how you use it. And even your parents are able to tell you, I have this much, how do we use it for your good? Then you become a master of money. But if it is in a sense that it is the money that drives your emotion, once you have it, you can do whatever you want. Once you are out of money, then you come back to square one again. Then it becomes a very bad master. So let you master the money. Let it be your servant, because it can serve you a very great meals and great things that you wish to have as a person. Another truth is that money is just a byproduct of exchange. Remember, I said that when we talk about financial literacy, it's about money is just part of that. It's just one of those resources that you require. Remember, if you get a job, you basically exchanging your skill for money. So financial aspect, the financial ecosystem, money is just part of the hard currency that is required to basically fulfill other things. But apart from that, as I mentioned, there was the banks, there was the digital, and many other financial ecosystem that you must understand when even it comes to issues of saving. So money is just by a product of exchange. So you use it basically to exchange for whatever you require. Another truth is that you must understand the rules of the game. There's this book by Tony Robbins who said that, money understand the rules of the game. What are the rules of the game? And those are basically what we are going to discuss, is that one of the rules of the game of money is that you must know how to make it. Another rule of the game is that you must know how to track your expenditure. Another rule of the game is that you must be in a position to save for tomorrow, not only now. And I know as a youth, you want to experience life. You want to basically, when you get money, you want to use it for good clothes, good shoes, good outfits. You want to basically be doing the KFC at least every week, those kind of stuff. But the same KFC, the same good clothing and everything else, if you start saving early, then you'll be even better off in the near future because you can afford them, because you had seen the essence of saving. So the rules of the game is knowing how to make the money and where does it come from? How do you track it? How do you ensure that you don't run out of money because you are able to track your expenditure? The other thing is you save for a reason, and that saving is that you are investing those monies, and we are going to be discussed that. So I can tell you for a fact, one truth is understanding the rule of the game, and the rule of the game of the money is what I've just discussed. So with that said and done, let's go to what we call the spending plan or budgeting. And allow me to pause and ask, how many of you, for the time that you've been in school, how do you spend your money? And now that you've closed school, did you at the end of the term had a surplus, or you had a deficit, or you used everything? So whatever you were given, all you spent, and by the time you are retiring and coming back home, the end product was zero. So spending plan must start as young as you are. Any money that passes through your hand, you must know what did it do. And as young as you are, if you actually adopt this behavior, one of the habits and one of the rule of the game, then you will be ahead of so many people who you will get actually in employment sector. So the question is, did you have a surplus? Did you have a deficit? Or what came in and what went out canceled out, and it was a zero budget? So spending plan as part of the rule of the game is very important. And I just want to let you know that we must be alive to the fact that you manage your cash flow. Cash flow is what comes in. Remember the pocket money. Remember the allowance that your parents gives you. Yeah, what your parents gives you is this one. It is like a cloud. This is what basically drains water into your pocket. This is now your wallet. So the moment you know how much is coming in, how much basically comes in, is it your parent, is it your siblings who basically gives you money, then it will be important to ensure that when you start running this stuff, you don't leave it open all the time. So you must be in control on what comes in and what goes out. That is the first rule and the rule of thumb when it comes to matters budgeting or spending plan: cash flow management. Cash flow management in layman's language is managing what comes in, the flow, what is in and what goes out. Because if you are able to do this, then you're on top of your game as young as you can. Where you find yourself with surpluses, at least you have some excess money after the term has ended, after the year has ended. Then now you can start looking at, where do I deploy this excess money? Not to eat. I know many a times whenever you have excess and the term has come to an end, what do you look for? Is now to go to town. I've seen those instances or those scenarios where you drop in town because you are never picked. You drop in town and you start buying everything that you think you can spend on. That's the time you check in any of the cafeteria, buy very expensive lunch for yourself because you had saved. Start buying things that you necessarily don't need. Now that's the reason why we are here. So if you're able to manage your cash flow, and at the end of it all, you have some net cash position, then you are in a good hands. So what is budgeting? So the lessons that basically I want to give you is that as young as you are, please live within your means and save from the start. From the pocket money you are given, from the small allowances that you are given, start saving from there. That will help you when you graduate to be an employee in the labor market. Then already it is in your system. It is part of the habit that you have. So you will not find saving a problem because you used to do it when you are even in college or when you're in high school and even at primary level. So this is the time. Don't wait and say, as we did, those are the mistakes we did, that, you'll wait until you get employed. Now that's when you start saving. No, you can start saving as early as today. With that pocket money, with that small allowances that you are given by your parents or your siblings or your guardians. So what do you do? Number one, make a list of all your income streams and daily expenses. The key thing is, when we talk about income stream, I told you, how do you make your money? And for you, your money could be pocket money or allowances that you are provided with by your parents or siblings or your guardians. I know there are those of us who could also be doing some like long holidays. You go for some casual work and you are able to make your money. So if you are that person who can even do some casual work and be able to make your money, then that becomes the streams of income. So once you know your streams of income, then determining how to use that amount becomes easy. Number three, we must have expenses. What are the expenses that you currently undertake when you're in school? Because the question that I always ask, and probably I need your indulgence in this, in school, food is provided for. So why is it that you need money, by the way? I'm just playing a devil advocate. Why do you need money? And yet, if you are in high school, then food is provided for, tea is provided for, everything is provided. What is the money for? Anyway, I know we have various needs and so forth, but the key thing is just spend on what you think is necessary. You don't have to be always on the cafeteria or the canteen all the time because you see your friends, they buy mandazis. If you don't really need mandazi, why do you go to buy because of the peer pressure or the influence of other friends of yours? You can actually save the mandazi, the 2 days mandazi money for other things. So just let your expenses be specifically on what is necessary, what can make you survive in school. Remember, you are in school to be able to read, to achieve good grades, and achieving good grades, so long as you're able to be provided with food and enough food for that matter, then sometimes we spend unnecessarily just because of peer pressure. So avoid the discretionary. Discretionary are those things that you can avoid, that you don't necessarily require. But once in a while is okay. So cut down on them. Then as a young person, it is very important that you prepare your budget and stick to what you can. I've realized, because I have teenagers with me, and there are instances where I get reports on the amount of money that they were provided with and what they used it on. Because as a parent, I've always insisted to all my children, when they're back from school, they need to give me a breakdown on how they utilize money. I've come to realize that helps them a lot. And there are instances where you find that they had surpluses, then they end up helping or bailing out their friends, and so on and so forth. So once you are given your pocket money, you are given an allowance, prepare a budget on what exactly that pocket money is going to do. Because for me, I'll always ask you, if you require 1,000 or you require you require 10 US dollars as pocket money. What is it for? Then you are accountable. So what we are just trying to tell you, be accountable. Whatever money, little, however little it is, be accountable. That you can give an account of what that money used. The moment you are accountable to you and to your parents, then it means you'll be accountable to the world. It means you'll be a good financial manager. Remember, financial freedom comes from managing your finances well. The moment you are not managing your finances well, then it will take you a long time to achieve your financial freedom. And in budgeting, we must always be alive to the fact that even if when you're in school, when you're in college, wherever you are, when you've started working, you must always choose between what is important and urgent and what is not just urgent and urgent only. For example, if you are given an amount and that amount you are required to spend, and you are asked between clothing and food, which one will come first? Definitely, on this scenario, food will be given a priority. So as you learn financial management and in budgeting, we must always ask ourselves, if I go to the cafeteria, I know in the morning, basically there was breakfast and it was with a toast, some 2 slices of bread. Will that be enough? And if you have extra cash, do you want to go for another bread, or you want to go for a mandazi, or you want to go for a cake, something of the sort? So you must determine what is important. What is important, very, very important and urgent to spend your money on, rather than just spending on things that you have not given priority. So the important versus urgent matrix in budgeting is very important as young as you are today, so that you are able to make a choice, and a good choice that you are able to live with, and you can be able to give an account of at all the time. So ladies and gentlemen, tracking your expenditure, tracking where the money is used is very important as young as you are today. Never think that that will only is for the adults, is for the parents, is for the guardians. It starts with you. Even your parents will be very happy if they can see that you are accountable. I remember when I was growing up, I think on the issue of pocket money, by the way, I can say that there are certain habits that I adopted when I was very young, especially in high school. I think at the end of the time, I could save almost 50% of what I was being given as pocket money. And I'll actually come back to dad and tell him that, yes, out of the 2,000, out of the 1,000 that you gave me, I only used 500. So I have 500 as pocket money. And then he could ask me, what now do you want to do with the 500? Then I could say, okay, I think I don't have enough shirts, or I don't have enough trousers, or I don't have shoes. So I could help basically to dress myself. So he could save on the clothing budget. But there are times also he could take advantage of me and ask for the money that I had saved. Now that he knew that I used to save a lot, so he could ask for the money. And unfortunately, there are times that he could ask and he doesn't return, or there are times that he could return. But in a nutshell, it is a kind of habit that basically started long time ago. And I can tell you for a fact that it has been part and parcel of me. Not that I'm very stingy, but the key thing is saving and just ensuring that I spend on things that are of priority has been within me for the longest time that I can remember. So guys, these are not just things that we are saying for the sake of saying. These are habits that I can tell you for a fact that once you start as young as you are today, and they become part and parcel of your life, then achieving your financial freedom in adulthood will be very easy. You will be the persons that will tell at the end of this program that you can start saving for your retirement as early as you are now in your teens. Then we open an account for you where you could be actually depositing on a termly basis the amount that you saved for the whole term. and you start saving for your retirement, because it is just the same way as saving for in a bank account. So guys, don't take it for granted. That's the truth. These are habits that we need to start as early as now, so that we can be in a better position to move to the level that we want to get into. So remember, we started by saying that your money behaviors is affected by the way we started by giving a definition what is financial literacy. And I say that these are the life skills that you require to understand the financial world and the financial system. But money remains the cog of all of it. Money remains at the center because it is the hard currency that you will require to basically achieve your goals. Then we went to the behaviors. We went to what basically affect our financial behaviors, and we talked about the culture. You know, the things that you've picked from your parents, the things that you've picked from your guardians, that basically makes you behave the way you behave with money. You are either not budgeting, or you just spend money recklessly, or you are that person who cannot spend even a single cent, even if you have the money, because that's the kind of culture and environment that you've seen you grow through. And I reminded you that to be a champion, especially in financial wellness, then you need to identify coaches, people who can basically work with you, people you trust, people you believe in, people who can basically correct you when you're going wrong. And I say that your parents become one of those champions or the role models. Your siblings can be part of the champions or role models, or good friends, or even other people, or your parents' friends whom you are free with, and you can talk with them and they can take you through how they've been able to work with money issues. Then we've just talked about budgeting, and I say that for you to get to the greater heights that you want to get into, to achieve your financial freedom, then we must always be attentive on how we track our expenditure. We must know, we must prioritize at all the times. And I ask the question, if the school or the college provides everything to you, what do you do with your pocket money? And I've also asked, at the end of the term, now that you close school, how many of you had a surplus, or you had a deficit, or you had a zero balance at the end of it all? So priority when it comes to expenditure, so that you can leave some money. And whenever now you leave the money, now you start looking at savings. So savings and investments, I can just tell you that savings is the art of ensuring that you have a purpose. Yeah, you are saying, I need a new wardrobe. Then you start saving for it. I need a new phone. Then you start saving for it. I need a new, let's say, you need a new jacket for that matter. Then you start saving. So saving is the process, is an art of ensuring that you are putting aside small amounts of money to achieve a greater purpose. So when you save, then you must save for a reason. You don't just put money aside. You don't just put money in an account to see it. No, you must have a reason why you are putting aside certain amount of money. What is it that you want to achieve? Am I clear? So saving, it is the process of setting money aside for a particular reason. And now that you'll be graduating into high school, to college, then into labor market, I'll be taking you through the savings platforms that we currently have, so that you can be able to see from where you sit. And for this purpose, because of your age, I could ask, do you have a personal savings account? Probably. Have your parents opened for you a personal savings account, or have you opened for yourself? Especially those of us who are in college. Definitely you are running a bank account. How does it look like? Do you separate once money is put in there? For instance, those who are in Kenya, you have HELB loan, which basically is deposited into that account. Over and above that current account, have you opened a totally different savings account, either in a bank or through your Safaricom Mshwari platform, where any excess money that you don't require, you channel it to that particular account? That basically gives you an instinct and becomes one of the good behaviors so that you don't misuse money. Now, the difference between savings and investment is that the moment you save and you save for a reason, then that money is put to produce more in terms of interest. That is the investment part of it. So the investment part of it is just to ensure that whatever you had set aside can multiply when it is basically put into channels where it can reproduce and through what we call the compounding interest. So that is the difference between savings and investment. You save for a reason, and the reason must be in black and white. And the moment you achieve that reason, then you move to the next goal. I hope that is very clear, and we'll be able to pick it up from there. So in that, I'll wish to discuss some saving life cycle model. There are always four, but for this particular group, we just wish to notify you that you are still young. You are in the category of the wealth accumulation, because if you are below 18, then it means that you still have time is on your side. Time is your ally. But if you've now reached 18 and you're in your 20s, then we need to see you now acting differently. At least by this time, one of the milestones that you need to be showing us is that at least you have a savings account in a bank or in a place that money that is excess can be channeled to that savings account. So at the tender age, what we expect from you that we need you to be more aggressive in terms of making sure that whatever money comes through to passes through your hand, you don't misuse it. At least you are putting something aside. Practice what we call delayed gratification. This you will need even to practice even in your adulthood. Delayed gratification means that you can forgo certain things today to achieve a certain objective tomorrow. For instance, if you have 1,000 Kenyan shillings, that is an equivalent of 10 US dollars now. And I know this time when now you are planning to return to school, this is the time many of you young people misuse money, especially where you had an allowance or you had pocket money that is being provided by parents. This is the time you'll find yourself in KFC each and every moment. You don't eat at home. You don't eat lunch at home. You are at KFC because you can afford 500 for a piece of chicken and all those kind of other goodies. So if you develop such kind of a habit, then you can say, instead of spending this 10 US dollar on all of it on chicken, then I can spend half of it. Then the other half I can put into my savings account. Now, that is what is called delayed gratification. But because after that, once you put aside that 500 or $5 in a savings account, it starts earning you interest. It means that after you are done with the first term, when you come back, you'll find that that 500 has actually given you another 50 shillings or 100 shillings. And that's how savings, now investments come into play. If you are now in your 20s, you are almost clearing college, we need you to start establishing a portfolio. What do we mean by a portfolio? At least you have your personal savings account. You can ask us, or you can ask your parents to open an account for you in a bank, or you can open an account with us as Octagon for retirement. There's what we call the personal pension plan, which you can start as young as you are today, so long as you are putting money, because this money, you can also use it whenever you require it in the very near future, so that you start looking at life in a bigger picture and knowing that this life belongs to you. It's not for your parents. By the way, let me tell you for a fact, as parents, we are just custodians. God has just given us the responsibility to ensure that we propel you to the next level. But the real holder of the life that you want to have, the life that you'll dream of, is you. And how good will it be if you've seen the light today, as young as you are? Because I want to tell you that if you pick this and through this training, then you make savings a lifestyle. You ensure that whatever money passes through your hands, you are able to utilize it well. You are accountable and you can have a surplus at the end of every end term or every semester for that matter. And you start looking at the bigger picture. Then, my friend, you'll find it very easy in the employment sector, or even if you start your own gig or your own business or your own side hustle in adulthood. So please take this to the bank, make savings a lifestyle. And when to start it is yesterday, if not today. Don't misuse those small resources. Don't be in a position then when you start regretting, I wish, because I know there are so many people, there are so many of you who are logged in this morning who actually are paid handsomely in terms of allowances, especially those of us who are in high school, not high school, those who are in college. I know you are paid very handsome amounts, which if you could have taken this seriously, in 4 years, you could be having substantial amount in your account, which you can start even a business on your own. Remember now, we're in a world where we are being encouraged to be job creators, not job seekers. So if you think you have those instincts of entrepreneurship, you can see gaps, then you need to start saving now before you check out of college so that you don't start a business with a loan. You already have your own capital. So guys, this is my running call. As we go back to school, as we go back to college, as we go back to our usual mundane things, let savings be our lifestyle. Don't spend more than what you have in your hands. Tighten your belt. Tighten certain things. Go back to how your usage has been for the last 1 year and look at the critical areas that you think you've been overspending. I know when you are in college, there's always those parties every weekend that you go with your colleagues. You can miss one in a month or once in a week, so that instead of having parties every weekend, then you reduce them to 2. So the money that you used to spend for the other 2 weeks, then you put them aside into a savings account. That's how things are done. Don't think that if you see your parents where they've reached, it has taken a sacrifice and a lot of it. And I can tell you, as we go back to school, I know now, like in Kenya now, from Monday, this weekend, the supermarkets and all places where uniforms and everything else is being purchased is full house. It is a sacrifice, total sacrifice. But that is their responsibility. The reason why you're on this channel is to alert you as early as now, so that you need to understand the rules of the game when it comes to matters money, so that you become better at it, better than your parents, an improved version of them, so you don't struggle with savings. As parents, many of us are struggling with savings because we have to ensure that you go back to school, you do whatever you need to do. But if we had this information earlier on, then we could have actually done some correction very, very, very well in advance. So as a young person, I want you to take this as your mantra, is that money speaks only one language, that if you save me today, I will save you tomorrow. So as a young person, what I want you to take going forward is that you are asking yourself, if I was given amount X as my allowance, at the end of the week, did I have any saving, or I used all of it? And when I used all of it, part of that usage, did it go in areas that can multiply the money, or it was only for my consumption? So please adopt this money language as you go back to school and be the champion, telling people that, yes, during the holiday, this is what we were taught. So I'm learning to save, because if I save even $5 today, which is 500 shillings, it will help me tomorrow, so long as it is invested in the right way and I don't basically go back and remove the money for usage. So when we come to investments, there are so many, but because of your age, it is also just good to expose you to the kind of investment channels that are always there. And I might ask you, what kind of investments do you know, are you aware of? So in the investment options that are always there, there's what we call the bucket or the envelope system, where as adults, and as a person who is taking you through this, then at the end of it all, as much as you're making money, then you're looking at the dashboard and asking yourself, how much am I saving for retirement? That is always the first port of call when it comes to issues of investment. Remember, I said you save for a reason. And the first saving options or the saving recommendation that is always there for any adult and even for you, because remember, as young as you are today, you could be in your age 15, age 18, age 20. Very soon you'll be age 30. Before you realize it, you'll be age 40. Before you know it, you're being told you are age 50 and you only have 10 years to go. So saving for retirement is an option that you should start as early as you are, especially those of you who are in college. If you have any excess money, start saving for your retirement through what we call Individual Personal Pension Plan, IPP. That is very flexible. It is more or less like a savings account in a bank, but for this purpose is for your retirement. And the good thing is that the money that you save in an individual personal pension plan, you enjoy certain tax advantages. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is an area that you need to think through, and I'll be able to take questions on how to go about it. Number 2, please try as much as possible to open a personal savings account. A personal savings account. What does that mean? The good example I gave is that if today you are a college student who receives help loan and you receive allowances from your parents, learn to start saving. So you can have a current account where the money that comes through and you use it, you receive and use it for various things, but open a personal savings where it has restriction. Once you put money there, you can either only withdraw the money after 3 months or even 6 months. So it means it prevents you from misuse. So learn to open a personal savings account. The other savings or investment options that you need to think about is SACCO savings. As young as you are, by the way, so long as you are a college student and you have an ID, SACCOs in this country and all over, even in Uganda, and I believe also in Zambia, you can open an account. Once you open an account, they have their rules and regulations. They have the minimums that you need to be putting in this account every month. And out of that, you can be able to borrow out of the deposits and the share that you have within the SACCO. There are so many examples of the circle. What you need to do is to do the legwork and contact as many as you can so that you find the one that suits you and open an account. Can you imagine opening a circle account before you join college and you pump in money, and by the time you are done with college, you have in excess of 100,000 plus in terms of, or even if it is in not excess of 100,000, it could be even in the 50s. It means you have a very good starting point, and you'll be ahead of a person who waited until they got employment, because after schooling or after college, it always takes some 2 to 3 years before you get real in the kind of employment that you wish to, in the career that you wish to basically move your life to. So when you start early, it gives you an advantage. And remember, because of the rules and regulations of the circle also, you can only take a loan after saving for 6 months. But this is a person who started saving when they were in college. So it means already, whenever they require money, already they've actually met the criterion of even borrowing from the circle. So guys, it is an area that you need to look into. So if you cannot start, if it is not the retirement IPP, do personal savings, do circle savings. Then there is what we call the unit trust, or what they call in the financial world the collective investments. What does it mean? These are products that are offered by fund managers or insurance companies, where you use very little amount of money to buy certain units, and they're called unit trusts. If you've ever heard of the money market fund, if you've ever heard of the high yield, if you ever heard of the balanced fund, like in Kenya, the smallest unit, purchasing price of a small unit that you can is only 10 US dollars. That is 1,000 shillings, and you buy a unit in the money market fund. What are the returns out of these units? They give you a conservative return of 6, 7, or 8% per annum. Do you want to tell me, as a young person who is in college, as a young person who is in high school, you are not able to afford 1,000 shillings? Or even on a quarterly basis? It is possible. The key thing is, once you learn the art of saving, once you learn and it becomes a habit and a behavior in your life, then you'll basically be trying as much as possible to ride the crest to ensure that you understand and be able to start investing as young as you are. So those 4 are actually relevant, especially for you people. You can start saving for retirement through the individual personal pension plan as young as you are now. You can open a personal savings account as young as you are now. You can open a circle account as young as you are now. You can open a unit trust account as young as you are now. When it comes to treasury bills and bonds, this is more of a high level, but just in a nutshell, this, as it has been mentioned down there, these are government instruments. What does a government do? A government, for it to be able to do certain projects in the counties and in the country at large, it always do not have enough money. That's why there has been a narrative, and I believe all of you are aware, that many Kenyans have been crying that the debt level, the amount of debt that the government has, is too high. So the government get into debt because it requires resources to take to hospitals, to build hospitals, to ensure that those hospitals have medicine. They have the requisite personnel or human resource. They have the right equipments and machines for that matter. And because it is not able to generate from the internal sources, then it goes to the domestic market. When we talk about domestic market, is like Kenya now, it comes to you, to the people who have money, the common man, the people who have money, and borrow from them at an interest rate through treasury bills and bonds. And also it can borrow from other financiers all over the world, like China, UK, the US, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund, IMF. So if you ever heard that government is in debt, it gets in debt because it borrows locally and it borrows locally and abroad. So when it reaches that time that you are able to amass a minimum of 50,000 shillings, then you can start participating in the treasury bills, because the minimum amount that is required for you to borrow to the government is 50,000 Kenya shillings. But that will need a lot of education. You'll need to open an account with the Central Bank of Kenya, so that you are given what they call the CDS account. And through that account, then it is the unique identifier for you to be able to deal in treasury bills and bonds. So just for your information, that's how you borrow, or that's how the government borrow from you. Now, for the emergency fund account, through your personal savings, it can also play the same role as an emergency fund account. What do I mean by this? I've come to realize that many young people, because you are used to be given an allowance every week, we don't create an emergency fund. And I'm talking out of experience, because when I do mentoring in many colleges, when it comes to issues of even personal savings or having an emergency fund, many young people do not see this as an urgent thing. For instance, your parents are providing 1,000 every week or 2,000 every week as an allowance. And they've been doing this for the longest time that you can remember. At the back of your mind, you need to know that there could be a time if, for instance, your father or your guardian or whoever gives you that allowance, they always give you at the end of the week, that is Friday is the default day where they give you additional fund. You need to ask yourself, what if come 1 week and you are the person who provides the money either is sick or they had a challenge and they were not able to get the money to give to you. If you don't get into a habit of putting some money aside, just in case there's a delay in giving you money every Friday, then you'll find yourself getting into debt. And now those are the things that we need to tell you well in advance, that out of the money that comes to you as an allowance, learn to put something aside as for emergency, just in case the provider, the person who gives you the allowance, either runs into problems or they get sick or they forget, then you don't get stuck and you start borrowing from M-Shwari, you start borrowing from digital lenders. Because statistics have also shown, because of your bad behaviors, you are the same people who borrow from several digital lenders. So you get a line, you borrow. The moment you know that the date of payment is due, you actually throw that line away and take another line to borrow from another platform. That is bad behavior that you start as early as now. Then it means your financial management will be very bad. So let's learn to ensure that we can have a buffer, even a weak buffer, from what we get from our parents or guardians, just in case there's a delay. The other thing that you also you'll be requiring to know is about Stockhold Securities. When you talk about stocks or securities, it means you own a company that is listed in the Nairobi Security Exchange, in the Uganda Security Exchange, in the Zambia Security Exchange. if you Google your home county, those exchanges, what it does, Nairobi Security Exchange, Uganda Security Exchange, and even Zambia Security Exchange, it is a platform that gives people an opportunity to invest in shares of different companies that they'll wish to own. And that is why it is called stocks or securities. You have shares of a company that as a shareholder, you will be paid dividend, and you'll also gain from what we call the capital gain if the shares appreciate. So for the people who are in college, especially, yes, the people who are in college, because already you have an ID, it is an area that if you have interest in, then they are identified or approved stockbrokers in the market who can help you to even start dealing with those particular shares or stock for these companies. So if you Google your particular exchange organization, then there's a list of the stockbrokers and also, yes, stockbrokers and fund managers who basically deal in these particular stocks, and they can give you what they call the CDSC account. Once you have that account, then you can start trading in stocks that you wish. And believe you me, this does not require a lot of money. So long as you have interest, then as low as 10 USD, that is 1,000 Kenya shillings in Kenya, you can buy particular stocks of companies. Because I can tell you for a fact, there are stocks currently that are going for less than 10 shillings, for less than 8 shillings per share. So these are things that you can, as young as you are, you can get started interested in and start dealing in them. I know for you, for the list that is down here, it's a bit on the higher side because the issues of property, unless you are inheriting from your parents, but you can also start saving now so that you can purchase a property in the next 4 years as you leave college, so that you start off with a property that you can put in your home. And I've seen young people, there are young people who've done this, where they saved when they were in college, and out of that amount that they saved when they were in college, they were able to buy a property the moment they got into employment. And now what they are doing is, now because they are employed, the money that they got from employment, they are putting up their houses. Can you imagine you having your house below the age of 30? It can happen. So I'm just trying to cheer you up. I'm just trying to encourage you that it is possible. Nothing is impossible. You still don't have children, so this is best for your parents. For those, and as I mentioned, where the world is moving to is that we project a world where, as a young person who is being taken through the education system, then you should be able to create jobs rather than seek for employment. So if you think you have the guts, you have what it takes, you believe in yourself, and you can see the opportunities that are abound, then please utilize them. Don't bottle up your entrepreneurship acumen. Start doing something. You can do it in college, because I've seen so many college students who actually, because of their entrepreneurship acumen, they start clothing businesses where they out of the excess or the surplus money that they have, and probably, you know, there are those who, out of necessity, because the parents are not really well off, and you find yourself struggling to have pocket money. So what do you do? Whatever little that you get, then you start a business when you're in college. And there are so many people who've prospered. And read the history of people who basically have made it in life. The most richest people, they started this when they were in college. So guys, my running call this morning is just to ask you that if you feel inside that you are capable to be an entrepreneur, to create jobs rather than seek for jobs, go for it. Nowadays, in this country, you find very young people below age 30, and they tell you, I'm a director, I'm the founder. Those used to happen, you know, in the 80s and in the 90s, my friend. You could not get somebody in the below age 30 who is a founder. Very few people were in that category. But today it is possible. So guys, as I get out of this slide, I don't know where your interest is. The key thing is you must develop and start identifying which kind of bucket or envelope system, what investment options, what do you want to save for, and start investing in that particular area. Remember the first four: your personal, your retirement, it will be your sole responsibility. So you can start as early as now. Sorry, I'm on the flight path where I live, where I'm educating you from. You can open a personal savings account over and above the current account that you have in your bank, especially those who are in college and those who will be graduating from high school. You can open an account, because once you go into college, you need to have an account, but open a separate personal savings account. You can join the circle now as young as you are, because there are circles who can take as little as 1,000 or even 500 per month. So the earlier you start, the better, so that you build a portfolio and start leveraging on the loans that are provided, especially from the circle. And I've also taken you through the unit trust, where as little as 10 USD, you can start investing in unit trust, what they call the collective investments, which come from funds managers and insurance companies all over Kenya and even Uganda and Zambia. I think in Uganda, it has taken a while. They have a collective investment platforms, but it has not taken off as it is in Kenya, but they are there. I've talked about the treasury bills and how the government basically get into debt. They borrow from us. So, and the minimum here is 50,000. So if you are able to get to that level, go to your respective central banks in Zambia, in Kenya, and in Uganda, and open a CDS account where you can start investing. I've urged you, please, as early as today, you can start putting some money aside for what we call an emergency fund. And this can come as a result of if there's a delay in the money that you get from your parents, your guardians, your siblings, then you can be able to continue attending classes as they reorganize themselves. I've talked about the stocks, where you can also open a CDSC account. Go Google your current providers through the security exchanges. Then you'll be able to get in touch with the stockbrokers who can advise you on the right kind of stocks that you can invest in. I've also touched on the property, that if you are capable, based on an allowances, or you engage in some casual works when you are on recess during the particular semesters, especially now those who are in college alone in Kenya, you'll be closing in May. So between May up to September, you'll be on recess. Those are close to 4 months. So during that period, if you can engage in productive, you can have productive engagement where you do work and you're paid, then you can start saving even for a property as early as today. Then lastly, I've just touched on entrepreneurship, and I'm just telling you that it is possible. If you have that burning inside you and you believe in yourself, and you know very well that you can be an entrepreneur, you can be your own boss, nothing is impossible. Create that environment and you can start it. What you just need is an idea. And through that idea, you can actually employ technology. And because we are in the digital space, then the rest can be history. And I've just given you reference that look at the current richest people in the world, the wealthiest people in the world. They started these things when they were in college. So that space, because creativity is so much in your 20s. A lot of creativity basically is in your 20s, late teens. So please just look at the area that you think you're good at. What are the opportunities that are available out there? And once you identify those opportunities, it means that opportunities are problems that people are facing in your society, in the community. And if you are able to come up with a solution, then you become an entrepreneur. So guys, those are the kind of investment options that you need to be looking at. And as you look at that, then you ask yourself, where and what am I going to do? It will also be important for me just to throw some caution to you that there are certain unconventional investments. The one that I've discussed, these other ones of investment options, these are conventional in that they are regulated, and there are very little chances of you losing your money. But for this other one, for unconventional investments, this means it takes place on trust. For instance, you've heard of the table banking, where you as friends, you meet on a monthly basis, you agree on amount that need to be contributed, and out of that amount, then somebody take every member is entitled to take a loan which is paid at an agreed interest rate. Now, that arrangement is solely dependent on the trust level of the membership. And that also applies with the merry-go-round, because we've had instances where the trust, there's what we call the trust deficit. And there are people who come specifically with the intention that the moment they get they get money out of the arrangement, that's the last you'll see them. They'll change phones, and that's it. So that's why they are called unconventional. It is on trust. And even the chamas, and even borrowing from friends and relatives, because even this one is even more riskier. If there are people who you need to be very cautious as young as you are, is your relatives and friends, because they take advantage, they blackmail you, and once they get money out of you, they can tell you on your face that you're my brother, you're my sister. Why is it that you don't want to see me progress and all that? But the last two that I've highlighted in red is what I want to caution you about. Statistics have shown in this country that the young people aged between 20 up to around 35, we are so much in lottery and betting, and we speculate a lot. We've seen young people burn their school fees. We've seen young people burn their pocket money. We've seen people burn their allowances because of betting and lottery, especially betting. Sports betting is one of them. The lottery, basically, these are society-based, depending on what they want to achieve. And also speculations, in that you spend money speculating that by tomorrow it will be, you lend it to a friend, and who tells you, I'll return it with 50% interest. My friend, that is speculation. So as young as you are, please, if you can, avoid the habits of getting into so much betting, especially sports betting. Those are things that you need to do when those are luxuries. It is part of entertainment. It's not supposed to be the work. Unfortunately, young people, because we want to make quick bucks, quick returns, we tend to think that we can make our wealth through betting. Very few of us will actually hit the jackpot. Very few. So for instance, in Kenya, let's say the working population, or the people who own phones, are 47 million. Out of that, 18 to 20 million have the ability, basically, to get some finances. Then out of what you get now, you start betting. The moment it's become a habit and a behavior, it will become your character. You'll find yourself struggling to even look for employment, because you get hooked into this habit. And I can tell you here, research has shown that real wealth take an average of 28 years to be made. So guys, don't be in a hurry. If you want to create or make wealth, take time, do the right thing, get your money in the right way. Don't be in a hurry because you want to get to where your friends are and you don't know the kind of route or the formula they use to get to where they are. Be real to yourself, be authentic, do things the right way. Because the moment you're doing it the right way, even your God knows that that's how it was supposed to be done, and they'll reward you in the measure that they know. Number 2, cryptocurrencies. Research also shows that young people are in these cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies, if you Google cryptocurrencies, this is part of the digital currency world. It is different from the hard currency that you know, the cash or the kwacha that you know. Many central or many governments are trying to develop their own digital currency to counter the cryptocurrency world, because now that is where the world is moving to. Now, why do I share this? Is that you know, through the cryptocurrencies, there are so many apps which are misleading. There are people who are creating apps to lure you with little money so that at the end of it all, they get a reward and for you, you lose. The good thing with the cryptocurrency is that sometimes the money that is required for you to enroll in this cryptocurrency is so high. It could be in the tune of 1,500 USD or 15,000 USD for you to be able to get into this cryptocurrency, which can be a hindrance to young people. However, there are those who still can lure you to get into it. What are the assets under cryptocurrency? One of the known cryptocurrency assets are Bitcoins, is Bitcoin. They have what they call Zcash and so many other. There are hundreds of those cryptocurrency assets. So guys, as much as it is one way to make quick buck, at the back of your mind, just know that it is not regulated. Don't be hoodwinked with apps that are there to siphon money out of your pocket, even if it is 100 USD, whatever amount that you can lay your hands on. You better deposit that money in your personal account or go for a personal pension plan or go for a unit trust that you can see, although it will take a bit of time for the interest to be accumulated, rather than go for those kind of platform where you lose the whole amount. It is just recently, 1 week ago, that I read that in Kenya alone, through the cryptocurrencies platforms, Kenyans have lost an equivalent of 10 million US dollars. Can you imagine? 10 million US dollars. And the majority of these people are below age 35, 25 to 35. That shows you the kind of urgency that generation, that age group have to make money quickly so that they get to drive the current, the latest Mercedes-Benz that is in town, to have the best address in town at that tender age. Please remember this. Do it at your own risk. If you succeed, well and good. You thank your God. But if you don't, also thank your God. And just say, I made my mistakes, and I can be able to live with the consequences of your decision. So guys, betting, cryptocurrencies, those are speculations. They give you the luring that you can make your quick buck very fast. But the flip side is even more dangerous. So don't get hooked into it, especially sport betting and any kind of betting. Do it as a leisure. Only after you've achieved your savings, you've put some money aside, you've met all your needs and even particular ones, then you have an excess. But from where I sit, I'll advise that excess that you're putting into betting, as you speculate if you'll be able to get a quick return, you better do something different that you can see it can gain interest over time, and you'll have to thank yourself later. So just quickly to mention to you that investments also comes with risks. And for you particularly, you are still young. It means that you have a lot of time to venture into high risk, more or less, investment instruments. What do I mean by that? High risk investment instruments, it means that they give you very high returns. But the flip side also is that you can lose everything at a go. So in the investment arena, they always say the younger you are, the better, because you have a lot of time to recover from the kind of losses over time. So what I'm encouraging you this morning is that your risk profile or your risk appetite is still very high. So all those things that I've talked about, stocks are very high risk instruments, so you can still invest in them now because you still have you still have a lifeline ahead of you. You can start investing in things like SACO now, although they are very conservative, but you still have a lifeline to recover from it. So take risk. And the risk is by ensuring that the money is not just sitting in an account if you have excess. And I always give this example. One of the times that I was taking people who've just graduated out of college, out of this training, one of the young men basically told me that they started investing when they were at the age of 18, 19. They were just celebrating their 19th birthday. That's the time they started investing in stocks. The good thing with them is that they have the exposure. Their parents basically the parents were working in the industry. So they had the exposure to know what stocks are, and they were able to be guided on how to go about it. So can you imagine at the time he was graduating, he had graduated. I graduated with a portfolio of more than 10 stocks in the Nairobi security market, which was even higher than basically what I had at the moment when I was talking to them. So it means that your risk level currently, as much as it is high, then take it now so that you are able to gain it, smoothen out as you grow old into the future. Okay. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I've come to the end of my talk. I hope and believe that I've challenged you enough. Remember that age is just but a number, but at the moment you are primed and you are at the prime age, and let it not affect how you behave, especially when it comes to issues money. I want you, after this, you go interrogate and ask hard questions to your parents. And wherever you are, we'll always leave our contact so that we can be able to guide you through on which areas we believe and think that can go a long way in ensuring that you become a good and a responsible citizen. As Octagon Africa, we want that guaranteed financial security now for you, so that when now you are at the age of accountability, then you are not regretting why you were born in this world. So with that, allow me to take it back to Elizabeth. If there is any questions, comments that we can address so that we can enjoy our weekend. Elizabeth, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anthony, for that wonderful presentation. I myself have also learned so much. I am glad that people are engaging in the comment section. So I'd like to say again, if you have any question to Anthony, you can raise your hand and I will unmute you, or you can type on the comment section. So allow me to start going through the comments first. Uh, very wonderful insight from everybody. I see someone said, let me see this. I am planning to start a game house where teens and youths can come play PS4 and PS5. Any business tips, Anthony?
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Number one, it is one of the businesses that for now has gained traction. Gaming basically is coming out to be one of the best business ideas that you can ever be. What you need to look out for, number one, is that are you going to be a franchise of a bigger gaming institution? Because I know of gaming is most of it is franchising. So you need to look out for who are the parent companies that will give you the rights. Number two is the location. This requires children who have, or teenagers or people who have money. So you cannot just put it anywhere, because you can put it in areas that you get very few people coming in. And remember, gaming, the gist of it is how long do one take in the gaming arena. So you need to be conscious of location. So your location must be very well thought out. And number three is that through franchising, then the installation cost, as at now, I don't know how much, but I know it has been reducing, but it will need a lot of the due diligence. So you need to do a lot of due diligence. Walk into the gaming areas, the gaming platforms that already talk to them, try to get so much information so that you can get to know how much is required. I remember at one particular time just reading through one of the people who had put up a gaming stations or gaming franchises. They were talking of the tune of around 500,000 or something of the sort. So it means it needs a lot of investments because location, the kind of machines and the ambience that you'll have in that particular area will go a long way in attracting the people that you require. And lastly is the licenses, because remember what the government is trying to do currently. If you look at what I believe this is in Kenya, what the government is trying to do currently is to reduce the man hour where people have time to do gaming. So that also have the regulations around gaming. You need to look at it carefully so that you don't go into a business where people are getting out of it. So that's basically what I can discuss for now. But the key thing is do a lot of homework, visit those particular gaming stations that are close to you so that you can get tips and know what they have. Elizabeth?
Thank you so much, Anthony, for that wonderful answer. Kigongo Richard, I see you have raised your hand. I have unmuted you and I've allowed your video, so you can unmute yourself right now and raise your question. Kigongo Richard? As he does that, anyone else with a question, and we want to hear you too, so you can raise your hand and I'll be able to unmute you. Kigongo, if you're there. Okay, I see another person has raised their hand. Natasha, give me a minute as I unmute you. Yes, you can speak now. Unmute yourself.
Hi, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yes, Natasha.
So if you're planning to start a YouTube channel, I heard on YouTube you can actually, for the views you get, you gain money. What are business tips on a YouTube channel while you're earning money?
Wow. Thank you, Natasha. That's a good one. Very innocent. Yes. Let me start by saying that we live in a world nowadays where money can be made by anyone, from from um, from 1 year old to 90-year old. We can all make money. And one of the channels and one of ways of making money is through YouTube. From the facts that I know, for you to get into YouTube, number one is that what exactly do you want the YouTubers, customers to know or to get from you? What are you offering? So you need to start from what is your offer, to the market. Once you have what you are offering, then you now look at how do you build that content. Remember, when you start YouTube channel, you must be consistent. You cannot be on YouTube today, tomorrow, or you are seen again after 2 weeks, or after 3 weeks, or after 1 month. It's like news, where every day Natasha has something that she offers. Is it on food? Is it music? Is it on entertainment? Is it on education? What exactly Natasha wants to offer to the world? So if you know what you want to offer to the world, consistency by building content that is relevant to the audience. Once that is done, where now people are actually get to know you, they start liking, then it goes on, and you find yourself being seen all over the world. But before you get being seen all over the world, there are certain numbers that you also must achieve. And I think if you dig through, they always say that if you start reaching over 1,000 plus, then that can be verified. But 1,000 plus in terms of viewership, depending on how people frequently actually log in to view your content, then you start getting certain benefits. And the moment you reach 1 million, then automatically, then you start getting the endorsements and everything else that comes with that. So Natasha, number one question is, what is your area that you want basically people to know? Are you able to build consistent content throughout, so that people know that they can get you every day on whatever they require? And number three is that how will that be relevant so that you start getting your numbers into thousands? And lastly, do you have proper equipments like cameras, and where you are doing these things are attractive, they are of high quality, there's no interference with voice and everything else? So the work is on your end. It is you basically to do the homework. The key thing is content, reliability, consistency, so that you get to where you want to go. Elizabeth?
Thank you, Anthony. Anna Kanja is asking, can a person below 18 make investments?
Yes, a person below 18 can make investment, but you can make investment through your parents until now you get to the level you have your ID. So what you need to do is to engage your parents. Let's say you want to open a personal account, then you can ask your mom or your dad. They go open an account in your name, but they remain the custodian, because the bank will use their ID. Then once they do that, then you save through that account. And the moment you hit the age of majority, which is 18, then that account will be transferred to you automatically. So it is possible. You can use either your parents or your guardians or whoever, even your sibling, whoever have an ID. And the moment you reach the age of majority, then you take over your account.
Thank you,
Elizabeth?
Anthony. I see a couple of people have raised their hands. I'll start with Trevor. I have unmuted you. You can speak. Kindly unmute yourself.
I wanted to ask that if I have a popcorn business at home, and I would like to get more people to buy it because not a lot of people are interested in the popcorns.
You have a popcorn business at home?
Yeah, I make popcorns and sell them. I make caramel and different flavors.
So what channels do you use to sell? Do you go house to house, or what are your channels of selling?
I go house to house, and I also tell my mom to advertise me in the estate group on WhatsApp.
So what you could do is you can either ask your mom to buy a specific phone for you. Once you own that phone, then you can use your go into these channels like WhatsApp and everything else. Then you start basically showcasing the product that you have. Remember, your mom could also be having limitations based on whatever she does. But I like that in that use your local market, but you need to go online more so that you can show the people that the people who you are friends with, that these are basically, and you can take over the call list of your parents or even your siblings as part of your marketing tool, so long as you have an independent line for yourself. But that is a good one, and just keep on doing it. With time, also through the word of mouth, people will come from far and wide to get to your popcorn. And to be distinct also, you could go the route of ensuring that the packaging is also appealing, so that it has your signature. You know, when somebody look at the packaging, they know, oh, this is from so and so. Okay, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Trevor, for that wonderful question. Daphne, I have unmuted your mic. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
My question is, how do you make a business blow up around the world?
Wow, Daphne, that's nice. Making business grow around the world is easy and also difficult as it is. The key thing is, once you have an idea of what you want to do, then you start working on that idea. Once you start working on that idea, the people near you will see. Remember, a business is a process, is a way of solving a problem for other people. Just for instance, like Trevor said, she is selling popcorns. It means he had looked at a gap in terms of the lack of popcorns around the area where he lives, and he started doing it. So a business is just having an idea. Once you have that idea, you've identified a problem, then you come up with a solution. Once that solution is out there, then people will start talking about the solution to other people who have a similar problem. Then after that, through that, you start getting networks. And the thing that can make your business or business, I grow the business into the world, is now going on platforms like YouTube, going to the platforms like WhatsApp, going to the platforms like LinkedIn, going to the platforms like Yahoo or Facebook for that matter, and your business will be known. And once you have those right ideas, then people will come to get your product and you'll be in business. It's as simple as such, but it takes a lot of effort. Okay, Elizabeth?
Wonderful, Anthony. Rogata, your microphone is unmuted. You can unmute yourself and ask the question.
What are some of the things to consider before starting a business?
Some of the things to consider before starting a business. As I said before, do you have the idea? What is it that you want to go into business for? Remember, business is about providing solutions. So you must ask yourself, have you seen a problem? Is there a gap where you live, where you go to school? And if there's a gap, do you have the solution to that gap? The moment you can see you have a solution to the gap that, or a problem that people are facing. For instance, take the issue of water. In this country, there are so many estates, that is Kenya, and I believe it can be across board. There are so many estates that do not get regular city county water on a weekly basis. Now, in that case, remember, you cannot live without water. So what do people have? Somebody identify that there's a problem of water. So what do? They go source for that water using handcarts or using bowsers, the lorries, or they come and drill a borehole. That exactly now gives a solution to a problem of water so that people don't travel far. So number one is that, have you identified a problem and do you have a solution for it? Number two, does the business require capital? Because the other aspect is, once you have an idea, does it require capital and how much is the capital? There are businesses that you can start with very small amount of capital. Like what Trevor has mentioned, the issue of popcorns. Popcorns, what you just need is, do you have a popcorn machine? And if you have a popcorn machine, is not, how much is it? The raw products are the seeds, which you can get from a supermarket, and it is not so much. Then you can go to packaging. Where will you get the packaging? How much is it? So does the business require capital? Once you know that the business requires capital, then you start now looking for market. Who are the people that basically will want to use this product of mine? Are they the neighbors around or even beyond? Are they people outside Nairobi? Are they people outside the world, outside Kenya and so forth? So once you identify where the market is, then you ask yourself, how does it reach them? So you look at, if there are people around here, then you can walk to their houses and deliver if they require, or they can come to where you are. So it means that also the location where you are located is very important for you to be able to do what? To ensure that the business takes off. So your location, the proximity to your market is very important, so that you know how much will you use to be able to get this product to where it is. Then lastly is now the marketing aspect. How do you ensure that your product or your business is always sustainable? You are able to get new people to buy your products, and how do they get into it? So in a nutshell, you have an idea. Once you have an idea, do you require capital? Once you have the capital, you look at the proximity, your location of the business, and if the location, what is the market that you want to serve? Then how do you sustain your business through continuous marketing or word of mouth and that? Once you do that, then you are the simple way you are in business, and you are able to basically get the money that you want. Elizabeth?
We'll go right next to Ethan. I have unmuted you. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Ethan?
Oh, I wanted to start gaming. I wanted to start creating games, but I needed some tips on how I can create them and put them online.
Okay, Ethan, you were breaking at the beginning. I didn't get the first part of your question. I just got the gaming. If you can repeat it again, you wanted to start?
I wanted to start a gaming website where I could create games and put them online, but I needed some tips.
Okay. Like I said before, gaming is an area that is gaining a lot of interest, in that a lot of people are where they'll want to entertain themselves or get things that they need. One thing that you must know is that get tips from. Have you ever visited gaming areas within your locality? Number two, who are those people who are developing those games? So, because if you want to go into it, then the right thing to do, as young as you are, pick your parents. They can actually take you to the people who are developing those games. And there are so many. So with the help of your parents, they can take you there. Then you get to know how do you develop them. Then once you develop them, because it's a bit of ICT driven, then either you want to start your own platform. They're the same people who will basically help you to go to that level. So in that regard, just pursue that interest. Let your parents help you to visit gaming shops and people who are developing games, so that they can take you through what they call the back end of it. And if you are interested yourself to develop your own games, depending on your interest, then they are able to coach you, they are able to mentor you so that you can start developing on your own. But it is the right path to go, but you need to do the legwork with the help of your parents to get to know the back end. What kind of games are you interested in? And once you develop it, then you yourself, you can now start channeling them into the, either develop your own app or your website and everything else that goes into that. So a lot of work with is your parents to hold your hands, Ethan. Elizabeth?
Thank you, Anthony. Natasha, you can unmute yourself.
So in the chat, I wrote Squarespace is a place where you can start a business website. What are tips to growing and advertising your website?
Okay, tips of growing and advertising my websites are many. What happens is that the persons who develop a website for you, there are certain, Elizabeth, I think that you can be able to answer. How do we ensure that websites, get a lot of hits? There's a term there.
Yes. With your website, there's something that we call SEO, search engine optimization. So this means that the content that you put in your website should be content that people search for things. So what is your website about? If your website is about fashion, you can put in fashion tips, so that when someone searches for outfits I can wear when it's cold, and you have and you have a topic like that, then it can definitely come up. Another thing you can do is also have social media channels where you can always talk about your website and push it from there, so that once someone searches for something that you have, they can see it. There is also a more technical aspect with your website where you can do Google Ads. It's basically an ad for your website, so that when someone searches for something related to your content, then it can appear on top and they can get access to your website. But mostly and most importantly, what you need to do is create content that is relatable to people and always update it. If it's a blog, I assume it's a blog. If it's a blog, you can always continue creating content. Don't create content once and not post about it again. I don't know if I have answered your question, Natasha.
Yeah, you have.
Thank you so much. I will go back to the comment section. The saying, if you make a TikTok video, will you get a lot of likes and earn money? I can answer that one, Daniel. Basically, on TikTok right now, not many countries have their content monetized. So being monetized means you get paid by the views and the likes that you get. In Kenya, I know that we haven't reached to that point yet. But if you want to make videos that get you money, then starting a YouTube channel will be advisable. But with TikTok, you can also get a lot of followers, and maybe when your country reaches the point where you can get monetized, then you can make money of it. Let me go to another question. Which business can I do if I'm doing architecture as a course in uni? Or sorry, Anthony.
Which business can I do if I'm doing architecture at uni? You know, business is wide. We've seen engineers who are totally in a different business sector. Business is about acumen and interest and options. Anyway, number one, when you are doing architect at uni, then if you want to actually stay the line of architect, it means then you can you can start doing interior decors, you know, those kind of stuff, things that are related to basically architect. So interior decor, you can be giving tips on the layouts, especially like what you know the interior decor has a lot, painting, how the interior of the house will look like, what needs to be put where, what lights need to go where, you know, those kind of stuff. So, but the key thing is, if that's the interest that you need to pursue as you are in uni. One thing that I always say, you know, uni basically just prepares you for the world. But the kind of thinking, the kind of interest, and the kind of options that you have are enormous. So never fear and never stick to a line probably that you might think might not take you to where you want. But as you said, architect, I think part of it is interior decor, just things that are related on how designs and even the locks, security issues, and all those kind of stuff that you can be able to do it to give to the people who need and require in terms of housing and the rest. Elizabeth?
Yakim says, I have started a business where I print hoodies and t shirts. I also buy clothes and sell them. How can I make the business boom and grow countrywide?
One thing, number one, sometimes and most of the times we are in a hurry to grow the business countrywide. But question number one, do you think that you've already captured, you know, the local market, the people that you started with, are they captive market? Can they give you repeat business? That is number one. So before you start saying, I want to go countrywide, are you able to fulfill the needs of the local market? If you are able to fulfill the needs of the local market, then you have the right to go countrywide. And how do you go countrywide? Number one, it is through word of mouth. I've seen so many people who, now that they are based in Nairobi, but the people who are buying from Nairobi are the people who are selling those particular products to their relatives, to their friends in other parts of the country. Never ever in marketing, you're told that never underestimate the power of word of mouth. It is one of the best marketing principle or marketing way to get to where you want to go. Then number two, once you go that, then now you can use the various channels like Facebook. I have so many testimonies of young people who started. I have a lady who started a business with 600 Kenya shillings. 600 Kenya shillings. That is how many US dollars? $6. By going to Gikomba, buying t-shirts, which were very good. He came, washed them, ironed, then took a picture and put them on their Facebook platform. Currently, that lady is actually big in Mutumba business, and even is gone now. He buy bales in wholesale and sell in retail. He buys clothing from Turkey. So he's even gone now to new clothing. So guys, it is not rocket science. What is required is determination and having the ability to be consistent and giving, especially when you're using those platforms, the digital platforms, is that what people see, the picture they see is what they need to get in the real product. Unfortunately, there has been conmen who what they see on platform is not what they get. And you find people running away from some of the online businesses that goes. But truth be told, have you already taken captive of the local market? If you do that, then you can now go through other channels. Facebook, advertise on areas. They always say that you can you can start advertising on Facebook and other areas like YouTube, where you can be talking about your products, as Elizabeth had mentioned earlier before. Elizabeth, do we have any other more? I believe
Yes,
that we've run out of time.
We do have a couple of them. Let me go through them quick. We have Wes, who's asking what he should do if he wants to create his own company.
If you want to create your own company, Wesley, number one, you go to the register of company. Currently, registering a limited company is as easy as ABC. It is online, and you can have yourself as the sole director and the shareholder, not like before when registering a company required that at least you must be 2 directors. Number two, once you do registration through the register of company, before you do that, you'll have to have a proposal for a name, which you will take to them at least 3 names, which they'll take through name search, and they'll come back to you if all the names have been taken or not. So then you can, once they give you a green light on the name that has not been taken, then you go through the normal registration. You'll be issued with a company certificate, which shows your company registration number, the name, and the address where it is. Once you do that, then you're in business. You already have the company business registered. Once you register like that, then you need to also register with KRA so that you are given a PIN, because any business at the end of it all should be able to pay taxes. So you'll be issued with a KRA PIN. Once you are issued with a KRA PIN, then you start, so long as the business is now registered, it has a name, it has a PIN, then every month you must always be filing nil returns if the business is not making money. So you start filing nil returns, because the moment you fail to file the nil returns, there'll be penalties that will be accruing on the business. So you start filing the nil returns, and once you do that, as you go into business now, then you have the registered name, then you can come now with the business plan. Or already if the business plan is there, then you start executing the business plan. Remember, the business plan always have the business name, its location, the kind of operations that you'll have, the number of people that the business will have, the kind of product that you'll be selling, what is your marketing, how will you be marketing the business, and so on. So you start executing the marketing plan once the business is registered, you are filing your nil returns, and you can now start having your letterheads, and you do proposals to people depending on the kind of business that you are running. You now start sending out proposals to people who will require your services. And with that done, then it will lead to processes in place. You need to have systems, how you register. If you get a business, you send out a proposal. Do you have an invoice? If you receive money, do you have a bank account where the business money goes into? Remember, the key thing is to separate business from yourself. So don't share your bank account with the business. So the business must have its own bank account. And with that, the rest is history. You'll be in business and you'll be running the business independently and doing the right thing. Elizabeth?
Thank you, Anthony. Brenda says, if I make clothes and I have issues with delivery, advertisement, and materials, they aren't easy to find and expensive. Also, when I get many customers at the same time, it is not easy making the orders because they take a lot of time and the customers reduce. I think she is asking for advice on this situation.
Now, from Brenda's case, I think is the issue of how does she handle the operations? Remember, depending on where you source the materials, especially in clothing business. If they are new, if it is a new clothing or where you need to stitch, then what you need to be doing is to schedule your clients, know who wants what and by when. So it becomes easy to be able to fulfill or to fulfill the end of the bargain. Don't wait until you get so many orders, then you find yourself kind of not having what we call the working capital to get materials, to source for materials, and be able to make the clothing within the shortest or the timeline that the client has actually required. So what I can tell you is, can you try to plan? In your planning, it means that as you source for clients, you are able to know, do you have enough resources to be able to deliver within those clients? And when clients come at the same time, can you be able to promise them that I'm not able to deliver within a week, I can deliver after 2 weeks or after 3 weeks, to give you time to be able to source for the material, make the clothing in the taste and that suits your clients. And for those who are in a hurry, then you can just tell them, okay, I'm not able to deliver. If you can get somebody else to deliver, be honest. And I can get the feeling of, Brenda wanting to deliver, giving promises, yet she knows she's not able to deliver because of sourcing and the capital or the working capital that she requires. Just be honest with yourself, be authentic. So whenever you have excess clients, just tell them, please, I cannot be able to deliver within the week that you require, but if you can give me 2 weeks, I'll be able to. That's the way to run business, being honest to yourself and being honest to the client. Elizabeth?
Thank you, Anthony. Betty asks, if you have a business, but where you are the only one who can do it, and you have to go back to school where you can't continue with this business.
No, that is a choice now you have to make. Unfortunately, so you have to either defer your schooling until the business takes up, or finish your schooling, but by the time you are finishing schooling, somebody else will have picked up that idea. It is a matter of priority. So what do you want? If you cannot do the two things at the same time, then you must have to let one go. The key issue is honesty, so that you are honest with yourself and also honest to ensuring that, is it education first before business or business before education? In where I see it, these things can go hand in hand. You can defer one for the benefit of the other, and vice versa. So the choice is yours. Elizabeth?
Thank you, Anthony. So many questions are coming in on the comments section. Frank says, I have a question. I had started a milkshake business where I sold a milkshake at 100, and the business caught up great. And the reason was because I know in town, sorry, I'm losing this. I know in town the supermarkets or hotels sell the milk at 200, and I think to just cut it short, he cut the business because of COVID, and he wants tips that he can get for the milkshake business.
Now, I like the fact that already he had started and he could compare it with the supermarkets. Create your own channel. And I think the best way to create your own channel is use the leverage, use the channels, especially the digital channels that are around you. Do you have a Facebook page? Can you create and be able to market your products through your Facebook page? That's number one. Number two, what other areas do you visit? And if you walk into those areas, are you able to start basically showcasing the products that you have? I can tell you for a fact that businesses that used to operate before COVID then went to hibernation. Then through COVID, they had to change their plan. And the plan was to get out of the physical contact and get into digital space. And that's the way to go. And also, don't underestimate the power of your networks. So the first people that you need to, especially the clients that you had served before, is to tell them that I'm back. My milkshake is here, and how they can propel you to the next level. So there's so many ways. So just look at which channels are available. How do you start it again? How best do you now recapture the market that you had? And also reach out to probably those supermarkets that are selling them. If at 200, if yours has a better quality, then you'll be good to go. So please, just rethink again, go back, look at the different channels that are available to you so that you can be able to go back to the business. If you started it, it means that already you know the ups and downs of it, what is required, and you can even do it better. What I always say, the younger you are at this particular age, if you can consistently don't give up and pursue that particular goal, my friend, you'll find yourself not wanting to be employed anymore. But the thing is, it is your choice. It is you now to play the part. Yeah, you need to run with it and just ensure that you stick in it, you stick to it, and you do what is required to get you to the next level. So just to wish you all the best and persistently pursue your dream. Elizabeth?
Thank you so much, Anthony. We are truly pressed for time. Unfortunately, we'll not be able to cover all the questions that you have asked, but I'd like to thank you so much for truly engaging with us. I saw someone asking if we're recording this. We are recording this meeting, and you will find the recording on our YouTube channel at Octagon Africa. Once you just search for that, you can listen to this again. We will also share notes to those who want the notes. For those who came in a bit late, we wanted to know the country that you're from. So if you've not told us which country you're from, you can easily write it down on the comment section. I will also type down an email where you can reach out to us if you have any questions, and we will continue advising you. Feel free to talk to us. I see Jacob has something to say. So let me give Jacob this chance for the last question, and then we will wind up. Jacob, I have unmuted you. You can ask your question.
If you want to start a business and you don't have a lot of customers, do you go to another business, a business that you can get a lot of customers, or do you stay in that business until you get a lot of customers?
Thank you, Jacob. That's a good one. Remember that you've put it right. If you have a business and you don't have a lot of customers, you shift to another business where there's a lot of customers. Remember, it is a personal choice. You know, business, you are the person who is doing it. And I always say at a personal level is that as the person who runs with the idea, why are you in that business? If it is something that you love, you know, customers are built over time. They don't just come like that. And in business, you should not be in a hurry to get those customers. As much as, yes, what is the driving factor? The driving factor is that you are offering a solution which over time will basically come to pay you. So it is you to choose. Are you doing this business for money, or you are doing it because you saw there's a problem and you have the right solution for that problem? It is just that not so many people have known about it, but with time, you are able to do what? To reach them, and you'll get the money, or they'll come now and pay you. So is it your passion? You like it? If it is your passion, stick to it. Just do the right thing, build it over time. But if it was you are just doing it for the money, then you can shift to another area that you think has so many customers so that you can get the money. Unfortunately, the thing is, what that teaches you is that even that when the customers runs out, then again you'll close it and do another different thing. In business, what matters the most, the rule of thumb is consistency. Is that if I Google you today and I can still see that you still offering solutions on the areas that suits me, then I know that you are there for the long haul. You are there for the long term. You are not just looking for the short term perspective, which is money. So Jacob, the ball is in your court. Just look at what is your interest, what exactly are you looking for? And I can see there are so many questions on business. So whenever you find yourself having money, and probably before you go into that business, and you are wondering, where do you take this money, you can still talk to us. We can put it into, you can either open a personal savings account, or you can even open the IPP, what I was calling the personal pension plan, which also act as a savings account, so that when now that time comes and you are ready for the business, then you can withdraw the money to put it into the business. So never stick with money in your pocket, never stick with money where you can use it. If it has a purpose, then make sure that you put it where you cannot get rid of it quickly, so that it serves that particular purpose. And I just want to close by saying that, guys, let you be the center of money issues, be it at your household level. Engage your parents, try to actually challenge them and come up with ideas that it can help you be a better person. Remember, we are trying as Octagon Africa to speak to you about money as young as you are today, so that by the time you are graduating from high school, or you are graduating from college, then you are an independent person who can make independent decisions, and you don't have to depend on your parents for going into the future. That independence is what we require, so that we have a responsible people who know that money you need to save for retirement, you need to save for your business, you need to save for various issues, and whatever money passes through your hands, be it pocket money, be it an allowance, then you don't have to use all of it. Don't follow the peer pressure, don't follow your friends, and please make sure that in your call list you don't have friends whose their role always is just to eat whatever you have. Remember, tomorrow again you'll require the same money, and your parents will go a long way in supporting people who are active and people who are proactive. So we want you to be proactive young people who can help their parents help them to achieve the goals that they wish to achieve in the near future. So money remains the center of everything. Be interested, get to know more about it, and you can contact us anytime, or through your parents. We can open accounts for savings and anything else that you require. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend, and I believe that this will go a long way and you'll become a responsible citizen. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anthony. That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you for everyone whose voice we got to hear. I also want to, I've seen some people who had joined us in our first training and are still here again. Thank you for being really good students. We're going to have another training session the next time you guys are on holiday, and we look forward to having you. I have typed in the email where you will send any other questions you may have to us. I will say it. It is training@octagonafrica.com, so that you can keep all these things that you have learned on the top of your mind. You can view this video on Monday. It will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, which is Octagon Africa. So thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend, and God bless you. So feel free to leave the meeting at any time you wish. And if you still haven't told us which country you're from, type it down on the comment section as you leave. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Blessed weekend.
Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Yakim, Letitia. You can say something as guys are leaving.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone, and God bless you.
Bye, Ethan. Favor, I'm so sorry. I didn't see your hand was raised. Please say something. Don't leave like that.
Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thank you.